final BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup weekend of the season. We're in Königssee in Bavaria. The oldest artificial ice track on the planet plays host to skeleton and men and women's bobsleigh. First action of the day, men's skeleton. I'm Martin Haven, alongside me John Morgan. And John, the snow has finally cleared. We should get a race on our hands.
Well, we're looking good at the moment for this track that was built in 1969, originally for luge. They altered it in 1975 to include bobsleds, and it's short, 1,275 meters or so in length, different for bob and skeleton. The crucial start, though, you got to enter this first curve and allow the sled to maximize speed into these 4 S's, this Schellengruber. First one, second one, third one, fourth one. Okay, you get through this albatross. Oh, and down you got this long straightaway. It's not a straightaway, it's a bendaway. You're gonna hit a couple times, no problems. Oh, then you got this turbodrome, this 360-degree change of direction. You exit there, oh, then this other challenge, the labyrinth. Watch the action in this little straightaway. Then the pressure builds into the finish. Echo Von is this flat, long, the corner exits you uphill. The finish line's right there for skeleton. Short, quick, easy track to get down, Martin, but boy, there are some challenges.
Yeah, there really are. It's a real driver's paradise and fabulous scenery all around. This morning we tried to get the women's race underway bright and early. You couldn't see the lake at the bottom of the track, you couldn't see the mountains, you could barely see your hand in front of your face. It was wet, sleety snow. That has now drifted away. There are very few little white fluffy snowflakes coming down, so should be good for the men's race. Air still +6, ice -3. They've had the refrigeration on hard. The track workers here do such a great job. They've been in since 4 a.m. because the snow was coming in. And so the athletes warming up in this huge covered start area. And the next step, I think, will be to cover the rest of the track. You just saw Martin Stucors, our 8-time consecutive World Cup champion, and he lies second in the World Cup standings. And the man who leads them, Sunbin in Korea, is back home in Korea. He won't race this weekend, won't defend his points lead. And essentially, if Stucors finishes 13th or better, he will claim a 9th straight World Cup title. So the odds on Martin's being the man who takes away the Crystal Globe are pretty high. There's the man who won the last World Cup race here, Alexander Tretyakov of Russia. In fact, that was his last World Cup win. The second World Cup start for Yan of China, one of 27 sleds from 13 different nations in the field. Only the fast 20 go through. Those going early traditionally have a better chance than those going very late because the ice will be fresher and shinier. Ronald Arderset, Floriana of Austria, and Yang Wenkang of China. They'll be the first 3 out. Then we get into the bulk of our World Cup leaders with Martin Stucors, who's got 7 career wins on this track, including 2 World Championship gold medals.
He's also had a few challenges on this track.
Yeah, he's had a few. I think his worst result here was 5th position. Ronald Arderset of Switzerland, first of 27 sleds, gets the final BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup race of the season underway here in Bavaria. Well, we'll be looking for a decent start from Ronald Arderset. Start record 4:53, and he goes off with a 4:64.
He's made the cut the last 2 times out on his home track in Samoritz and in Altenburg, which previous to that, the previous 5 events, he had not made the cut. So we're seeing some improvements here. Watch the line. And that's in the labyrinth, and now it's in the 107.9 kilometers out of this Kreisel, this turbodrome, and he's the rabbit.
Nice looking line down the bottom. You saw him looking pretty quick through there, and that helps you keep the speed on board. If you rock from wall to wall, then you're in real trouble.
And that uphill section has a lot to do with taking away some of that speed, and no mistakes allowed there. And he's down a 52.35. That's 2 seconds and 34 hundredths off the track record. This morning, the women, the first sled down was 7 seconds off.
Yeah.
And then it got to be 4 seconds off, and then there was 8 seconds. There was a little inconsistency from sled to sled, and the jury made the right decision to cancel it.
Not a bad run from not a bad run from Odderset. Hopefully the women's race will go after the men's race. So Ronald Odderset sets the time, 52.35. Mickey Grumberger holding the sled for Austria's Florian Auer. Both Auer brothers are sliding here. And this may be Alexander Auer's last ever race. Talking about what he's going to do with his future. Matthias Guggenberger will go to the games in Pyeongchang along with Janine Flock for Austria, but it's just one slider each.
Yeah, neither one of the Auers have made the cut in any of the 6 races that they've been in, 3 each. Start time, and their father, Christian, the 1993 world champion in skeleton. He had great starts. The boys haven't had the great starts like the father. Of course, the sport was a little different then than it is now.
Huge skid, and that is going to consign him to the foot of the points table at the moment. You lose speed like that, 105. Ronald Odderset was 107.9. So you can immediately see how much that's cost him. He's 3/4 of a second back. Not a bad run through those little rocking and rolling labyrinth corners.
111.3, that's better speed.
That is better speed than Odderset. Oh, huge skid though through Echo, 100.9.
He might get it back to half second, no, 7,500. That is a lot of time between Odderset and Auer.
Yep.
A couple of the A's going head to head here, and Odderset's got a better start time by 20 hundredths, 22 hundredths, and 75 at the bottom.
2 massive skids from Florian
This
Auer.
doesn't help. This is uphill. TV doesn't do it justice, but you're going uphill. Uphill in a gravity sport, the last thing you want to do is be going sideways.
Feeling he may not make the cut, and his face makes it look that way too. Yang Wengang of China next up. Coach Willi Schneider builds the sleds, coaches the athletes. And Wen Changguang from China has qualified for the games, their #1 World Cup slider.
There's Willi Schneider.
Jeff Payne will take him to Pyeongchang. And of course, the next Winter Games will be 2022 in Beijing.
Well, this young athlete, decent start. I wonder how many total trips he's had down the track in his career. I mean, that's the...
Well, he's only in his 2nd season of sliding, so his first in Europe. Not entirely sure that this isn't his first time ever in Königssee. PhD student, PhD graduate student. Wow, little wild. And look at the huge skid there. He's got the nose of the sled too low going into the pressures, steering it too hard, and it's just slithering everywhere. Now, that's how you need to go through the labyrinth, trickling straight through the bottom, but you need to be going through about 10 kilometers an hour quicker.
Yeah.
Even so, speed at the bottom, 100.2. He's not far off Florian Auer, despite that.
Got a chance third, just behind Florian Auer.
Yeah, 0.05 of a second slower than Auer.
And he was braking seems like all the way down the track. But you know, the experience, again, I bet you he's got less than 100 trips in his career.
Yep.
And it's all about trips. This exit of the 4S's, there's not too many tracks, but 4S's, and then this, you know, this straightaway. It's not a straightaway. And then after that, then you come into this Kreisel and look at his lines.
Look at the nose down on the sled.
Doesn't take much to figure out that's not how to do it. But, hey, when you're inexperienced as he is, he won't be that way in a few years.
Alexander Auer, 4th of 27 starters in the BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup finale. Yeah, got to remember to take his music off before the helmet goes on. And Alex may well be having his last slide of his competitive career. First time on a sled from the top in Innsbruck, he was 2 years old, lying on the sled, his dad kneeling over him, sliding down.
Wonder what the mother thought of that.
She probably didn't find out for a few weeks, stroke months, stroke years.
Yeah, they're just lacking at the start, both our brothers.
Yeah. Well, Mickey Grumberger, the coach, was compatriot and sort of contemporary of Christian Auer, and so too Andy Schmidt. Austria had a huge successful sliding industry there.
Mickey won a world championships in skeleton in the 90s. The Austrians were the dominant country.
1400s behind from 1100s back at the start to Ronald Odderset.
4 S's and not a bad exit, 1400s down. And now the bend around, he's trying to get through there without steering more than he has to. Speed of 108, that's not too bad.
Okay, only 1400s back. He may well be in the field on this run.
500s. At this pace, he should do better here in the bottom. There's the green numbers.
112.8, top speed.
There, watch out. There's our doctor standing there in the picture.
103.3, best speed we've seen. Okay, Alex, well, if this is your last run, your last day of ice,
52.02.
make the most of it.
That's 2 seconds and 100th off the track record.
All right, that might well be enough to get him into the second heat and have one last trip down this ice. There you go.
So you're talking 52 flat for the time.
Hey, he is happy with that. Yesterday, he was really, you know, at 6s and 7s, and
too
today...
high. Look at too high here. You're up near the frost. Good bullet form, but...
Keeps the speed.
There's his brother.
There you go, Alex. One more, brother.
We've had 4 guys down the track, all with the last name A.
And now we don't. Now we get our first Vladislav. This is Vladislav Hereskevich from Ukraine.
The boxer.
Yeah, boxer, mixed martial artist, power lifter. His father a coach. Coaches him in...
Right there.
Yeah.
And he's also a physics student, right?
Yeah. Well, one thing he isn't yet is a sprinter, but he's so powerful. If he gets any speed at all over the summer, then next year he's going to be a great force to reckon with.
He's one of a couple guys in the field who look like bobsledders. The Grizz, Reese Thornberry,
made the cut twice this season, 18th in Whistler, but he was 13th in Park City.
These are great lines.
Well, look, mass is really your friend on this track.
To 110, that's the best. No one's come near that.
110.2 on the exit, 112.8 is the high speed.
Yeah, this is pretty good. If he gets on the bottom here with clean lines into this finish.
114.8, that's sensational.
He should be green numbers here pretty quick. He should get it at the bottom, right to the 100.
We'll see the German girls doing that in the women's race. 51.91, so he takes the lead by 1100ths of a second from Alex Auer.
I'm going to target that as the cutoff point. I'm going to target
52 seconds.
51.91.
Well, you're being brutal to Alexander. I think 52.02 gets him in.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a very deficient start time,
but he looked very smooth through the labyrinth.
His times down the track. Worst start of the 5.
Vladislav Hereskevich of the Ukraine leads from Alexander Auer and Ronald Arderset. 5 sleds down, 22 to go. Now we get into the top 20 athletes in the world, and they come out of a random draw. First up, Nikita Tregibov of Russia. A week ago in St. Moritz, early draw bad news. This week, like every other week, early draw good news. So 6th off should be a bonus for Tregibov.
Should be in the 50s. Maybe.
Bronze medalist in the World Championships. That was the last race that we had on this track.
66. I'm surprised at that. He's 200 slower than Ronald Arderset of Switzerland.
Yeah.
But this is a half-second lead already.
Well, he does have a good start, but he does have good form on this track.
Well, he's the junior Russian rocket, and one hit, and then clean right to the...
110.4, barely faster than Hereskevich. So he's losing speed.
But he's got 7/10. That's relative to the start. 30/100s at the start better.
So cutting the ice through the labyrinth. 114.6 again. The Ukrainian faster. Off a 93 start compared to a 66. Now he's still got speed on board. That's the top speed we've seen.
Okay, that's what we expect. So there's into the 51s, 51.17. So,
all right.
Now it's action. The next 6-7 sleds here. So,
well, we should see our fastest men down in 50 seconds rather than 51.
There's our #1 Russian fan. This is the dive out of the Turbodrome to the labyrinths. Not perfect, but boy, he made it look pretty good at the end into that C curve. That C curve is challenging.
Matthias Guggenberger booked himself a spot for the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang. So he'll be heading shortly to Korea. About 2 weeks from now, everybody heads out going east for the Games.
I'll say this, no one's had more injuries and competed with more injuries than this guy right here.
Been a pretty painful Olympic quad for Gugi, but the pain pays off in the end. He's kept himself in the game. He's still Austria's #1 slider by some margin.
He went through to Pyeongchang last year for the pre-Olympic test, limping on one knee. He had surgery in April on his knee in Innsbruck, and there was co-surgeries for him and Thomas Dukars.
Yep, same knee issue, same hospital.
Same doctor?
Yeah.
Maybe they got 2 for 1.
109.8, we just saw 110.4 from Nikita Tregebov, so he's going to lose a little bit more ground back to the Russian, from 19 to 33 hundredths back.
Looks good enough for second, though. He's usually, if he stays at 113.5, that's not as good.
Third fastest speed.
104.2, so he's dropping all the way. He's going to drop himself into second place.
Half a second back.
It's not bad. Mickey Grubenberger likes that. So there's the time, you know, what he's got on the screen of 51.72. I'm saying 51.90. You're saying 52 flat. But he's usually 10th or 12th. I mean, in World Cup rankings, he's got pretty good lines here, Martin.
Yeah, good run through the Kreisel. There's the second pressure. Then it comes back at you for the third pressure just as you're looking to exit. And that's the crucial one.
He's 11th in World Cup points, so we'll consider he'd probably be 11th here.
Now, what will the Germans do here? This is Alexander Gassner from Oberbernberg. First of our 3 German athletes. Dirk Matchens, former skeleton slider for Germany, is now their driving coach. He's the man with the sled.
So Gassner 4th last week in St. Moritz, his personal best of the year.
Bronze medalist in last year's World Cup race as well, behind Alexander Tretikov and Sun Bin Yun. 62.6, that's very good velocity through the first speed trap.
If anybody's going to catch the Russian, it'd be one of these Germans here.
Yeah.
Well, he's lost 300s back. Now the Russian...
10th away, so a good exit from the Kreisel is key to all the rest of the track.
110.2, a little bit slower than the Russian, but not much. See if he can get out of here clean. The Russian didn't.
Whoa.
16.
There you go, now there's the line.
He nailed it.
Now that'll come back probably to the green at the next clock, 1:15.5, and that's what it does for you.
Here comes green. Oh, it's going to be close. 106, 106. Right to the 100. Right to the 100.
Oh, how did he not? 51.25, but he is right in the mix. So 2 bronze medalists from the last 2 races here, from the December World Cup race and from the February World Championships, are currently 1st and 2nd.
600s down at the start, 8 at the bottom. Surprised he didn't do better in the finish. This was really good. It's very similar line to Tregebov, and then into this C-curve. Yeah. Good speed, best speeds on the bottom. He got beat by 600 at the start.
Thomas Dukurs of Latvia is the 9th of our starters in a field of 27. 20 go through into the second heat. 4th in the World Cup standings, and with Sun Bin Yun being absent, he may move up as well. He's 30 points ahead of Nikita Tregebov right now, and he is 12 points behind Axel Jung. So very tight battle behind Sun Bin Yun and Martin Dukurs.
Only 1 podium this year, a 3rd place.
That's
in
a
North
pretty
America.
lean season by his standards.
Yeah,
4:71 getaway and
best start. No, second. No,
62.5.
Yeah.
Good momentum as well.
One of the taller athletes, about 3 inches taller than his brother.
Look at him sweep out of the S's. Good, a little bit too much steering.
Only 10 back. So speed,
skiddy.
110 something to be good. 110 flat. That's not good enough. That's good, but exit here. Let's see which. Well, he comes out a little bit down the middle. 1200s back, so now he's going to have magic speed like 115 plus. He's got that. That ties the best speed, but he's running out of track.
106.5,
that's
fastest we've seen. How close will he be? Second at the line, tied for 1st.
So he came back on the bottom part of the track, where Gosner couldn't get to those numbers.
Well, yesterday, the Ducos brothers came down. Martins was a 51.55 in his penultimate heat in training. And I said, so what are you testing? He said, another set of runners.
The Father
Always
Dennis there on the
thinking.
left. Okay, the bend around, you got to hit at least once. And the toe drag, the little rudder to steer. Pretty good. Great speed in the bottom.
Decent run. We have a tie for the lead. Thomas Dukos of Latvia and Nikita Tregebov of Russia. 10th athlete down, Dave Kreszczeshin. And if you're watching at home in Canada, then he, like a lot of the other athletes, got a whole bunch of merchandise you can represent your country with when we get to the games. So 10th of our starters. One bronze medal so far this season. His first World Cup medal for Grizz came in Winterberg, Germany. 480 start. And let's take a look at the momentum. 62 mid would be good. 61.8.
The Grizz. Again, like one of the bigger guys in the field.
Now let's see, breaks into a little skid off the first S. He was trying to just steer gradually away from that left-hand wall as it comes at him.
195, that's not the best speed. See what he can do in the exit.
Toe steer off the labyrinth, nicely into the doodles. Okay, 4800s behind, that should limit the damage.
115, 113, he's 2 kilometers down.
Okay.
So now he's going to struggle to get that 52 number. 6/10 back. This is watch out the cut.
5th place at the line. 51.91.
So he's under that limit. I mean, he's tied for 5th. Isn't there? There's a couple 91s, right?
Yeah.
So
Tied
him
with
and the
Vladislav
Ukrainian.
Heleskiewicz. Yeah, the 2 big rugby players in the field.
The 2 rugby guys, the bobsledders in the field. Won his first ever World Cup medal. Look at those pictures out of the S, or out of the bottom part of the track. Down here, it's high in the finish curve there. Echo Vond.
Greg Rafter helping out with the sleds. He slid weeks ago. Thomas Dukos, Nikita Tregebov tied for the lead. And we have a tie for 5th as well. Lots of orange T-shirts and flags for Dresden's Axel Jung, the second of our German sliders. His teammate Alexander Gassner currently lying in the bronze medal position. Top 3 covered by 800s. The tie, the 4th place stead rather, is 5500s back.
Here comes some
the
weather
snow
coming in.
is starting.
Watch out! If I was him, he's already wasted 14 seconds. You know, I would be gone, and as soon as that thing turns, I'd have been gone.
There's very little snow outside our commentary window over the finish deck, but it is snowing 100 feet higher up the mountain.
He's already 200s back with a better start, too. Best start, 62.3.
Good momentum.
Well, this is 3rd in World Cup points. 800s back. If he doesn't have 110 speed, that might be relative to that snow at the start. 110.4, so that diminishes that theory.
Well, he's got in there nicely. Let's see. Great exit. Here we go.
115.5. If he gets that, he gives a good chance for the lead. 115.8. Nobody's had that. Here he comes. 106.
He's going to lead. 107.1 is great speed from Axel Jung. He takes the lead in the race by 1200s.
There was some experience on the bottom part of the track.
Yep.
He was 2nd last week in Samaré. It's his personal best. He's got one other podium in the season.
Yep,
that was
bronze
in
medal
Park City.
in Park City. And don't forget, he was the silver medalist here in the World Championships in February.
Well, there's some
big height in the Kreisel. Lots of distance covered, big height, big lows. Taking a lot of waves in there, but he has the lead at the moment. So Axel Jung from Saxony is the leader. Next up is Martin Dukos of Latvia. He needs a top 13 finish here to claim his 9th consecutive Crystal Globe as the World Cup champion for this season.
Well, Superman. He's got a little love-hate relationship with the track. Very rarely have we ever seen him upside down on a skeleton sled. We saw that a few years back, down out of the bottom part of the track below the Turbodrome.
He's had 7 wins here in 8 seasons, 10 races, and that includes 2 World Championship victories on this track in men's skeleton. He's in the lead from the very start. Speed is high. Look at that.
Watch the exit. Whoa, high in the end. 1600's lead, so we just saw 1:15.8 by Axel Young. 1:15.2, not as much speed. Gonna lose some time back here.
Now what does he have at the bottom? 107.1 from Axel Young, 105.9, so the gap will come down to next to nothing. Fantastic, that's what we want.
Wow. Yeah, he looked high in the exit of Kreisel.
Got a tie for the lead, 1200's back. We've got a tie for 3rd. We've now got a tie for 7th, and we've only had 12 sleds down. 6 of them are tied to the 100th of a second with each other, or with someone else.
Superman. Looked a little high there.
Yeah.
It comes over, too much pressure on the crossover, and the speed went away.
We've seen him crash here out of the lead
here,
of a
right
race.
there,
Yeah.
So, I mean, not too many times we've seen this guy upside down on a skeleton sled.
Always thinking, always experimenting. Axel Jung leads for Germany. Alexander Gassner, 5th for Germany. And here is our 3rd German athlete, Christopher Grodher. Now let's see what he can produce.
Well, he's right up there in the mix, 6th in World Cup points.
Never claimed a medal on this track. Lots of Bavarians have, unsurprisingly.
Well, his 3rd is his best finish of the year on the track in Altenburg.
Lots of German winners here. Florian Grassel, Frank Rommel have both won races. Grassel, Sandra Stieleke, Alex Krökel, they've all taken medals as well.
Mickey Havlicek, I think, was leading the World Championships here in 2004, and on the 4th heat, final heat, he had the lead and lost it. Lost his podium finish too with a, I think it was up a curve 2.
And Halilovic, another product of the Christopher Schuler just down the road in Schönau.
110, that's
good speed.
Not as good as his teammate Axel Young.
Same as Ducours, and he is 800ths of a second back. This might slot him into 3rd place ahead of Thomas Ducours and Nikita Tregebov.
1:15.8, that's just ties the best speed.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
1:06.8, this is going to be at least 2nd.
Well, 3rd it'll be, because we have a tie for the lead 5th, so he's behind the tie for 3rd as well.
He's 100th behind the tie.
Top 5 covered by 1300ths.
Very interesting.
Yeah. That is kind of the nature of this track. It is very close. If you come away here with no ties in the top 20, it's extraordinarily unusual.
Okay, out of the S's and boys, you saw his toes out, acting as the rudder to stay off the wall.
Steering hard there. So Grodher in the top 5, Gassner in 6th, Axel Jung tied for the lead with Martin Ducours. Next up, USA's Matt Antoine. Antoine's last medal on this track coming in the 2014-15 season when Tretikov beat Ducours.
Just don't know why they wait for the light to turn green. I'd have my helmet on, I'd be gone. Look, he's going to waste 10 seconds here with that snow coming down. He could have had the helmet gone, been on the stance, been off 8 seconds ago. The only person we saw do that in the women's race was Elizabeth Vachi. She was in her kneeled stance waiting for the bell to go off. So Matt just wasted 20 seconds. And when you're dealing with 100ths of seconds like we see from 3rd to 5th right now, that's 100th is valuable.
474 is a good getaway. .62.1, that's very good momentum. Not too many have been in the 62s. So 1300s back as he comes down in the S's.
Considering that start.
Little skid into the wall.
110, needs that to compete. 109, ooh, that's not good. Good exit, give him a small chance.
Nice run down through the labyrinth. 2700s back though. To be somewhere in the top 10, not in the top 6.
113.6, similar to the Grizz's speed. 104.2. He's 2 kilometers down, a mile and a half down. 8th. It's about where he's been hanging out. In fact, he's 8th in World Cup standings. And the whole lineup in front of him
Ninth fastest start, 8th at the finish.
Well, I'm not saying everything on that start, but when it's snowing up there like that, you want to get off that block as soon as you can. This didn't help, but the rest of the run's pretty clean, pretty quiet here in the Turbodrome, the Kreisel, and up in uncharted territory there.
Yeah, big second pressure. So 14 sleds down, 15th of our starters is Alexander Tretyakov of Russia. 2 wins on this track.
Look how quickly he went. He went within 7 seconds.
And his last race win came here in December 2016.
4:57. Whoa. 12. That lead should get out to 18 or 20 hundredths here if he's done everything right. If not, it should be like 10.
Best
13.
first corner momentum we've seen.
13, I think he lost back. 1:10.5 he should have with that start. 1:99, doesn't have the speed. So he made some mistakes, he's making more of them. Too much steering there, down at 900, it's a lot of scratching.
Really noisy.
Really.
He's going to be behind at the line at this rate, 1:14.4.
He's going to be falling back at least 2 spots. He might be second, 1:05.2 is not very good speed though.
And at the line, he comes in 7th. Well, don't forget, we've got a tie for first, a tie for third. So if you don't vault them, you're automatically 5th. He's 22 hundredths back.
He's only 10 hundredths out of a medal.
Yeah.
But we heard, you know, you can hear that scratching all over the place. Watch the pressure here.
Look at his feet.
Feet down.
Trying to hold the line
Look
up.
how high he gets there late in the curve. He's going back down. He's got like 3 pressure points there.
Yeah, he's trying to hold the line all the way.
And then this is the uphill section of the track where you don't want to touch.
Late flop. Hit the wall on the sliders left. So Alexander Tretyakov in the 7. And we have our first 15 sliders down. Axel Jung, Martins Ducours, Thomas Ducours, and Nikita Tregobov separated by just a whisker.
Now let's see how quickly the British get away. He's got his helmet on. Let's see what the clock goes. Well, they don't show us that. 26. He got one off within 6 seconds.
Yeah, well,
anybody that's up there waiting to put their helmet on when the thing turns green has got some bad advice from the coaches.
4:74, same start as Matt Antoine a couple of sliders ago.
So Dom did pretty good last weekend. It was best finish in years. He had a 5th in Samoritz. It was nice to see it.
Not a bad exit onto the straight. 1700s back at the moment. That's 11th spot.
110.
So close at the top of the pile. Top 5 covered by 1300s. That's good speed. 110.1.
Oh, he got nicked on the exit.
And that's going to cost him. Needs 115.
Yeah, 112 is the lowest speed we've seen since the Hours brothers came down.
So it's the top 3 sliders, and the speed has just gone from the start. Look, he's barely moving.
51.95.
Yikes.
Wow. Look at the coaches. A couple Americans there.
It was good until the exit of the Kreisel.
Caleb Smith and just looked on, and they both know. Boy, that was... He found a parachute someplace. And I think it was right here in the exit of Kreisel. Okay, down this long form of...
Big second height.
And watch this bang here. Ooh, bang. And that has a lot to do with your exit speed, and that's why his speed was... He might be 12th in the rankings, but I bet you he was more like 15th or 16th in the speed.
Vladislav Marshenkov, our 3rd Russian slider in the field. Marshenkov, rookie in the World Cup. Missed the cut in Park City in Whistler after finishing a remarkable 11th on his debut in Lake Placid, or his seasonal debut. That was actually his 2nd World Cup race. Best result, 8th in Winterberg, and he was 10th last week in Samoritz.
So 10 seconds off the starting early. I just hope we find someone that just goes right on as soon as that thing turns green.
Ooh, drifting all the way out to the right.
Start suspect. Going to be pretty tough to get in the top 10 with that start.
Carries a lot of mass, this guy, though. He's a big athlete. Like Heraskevich, the Ukrainian. Not a bad line. Oh, long skid and hits the wall, and again. So he'll be doing well to be 110, 109.6. There you go. That's where all the speed went. You saw the slide, you saw the contact with the ice. And down the bottom here, 112, maybe into the 13s. Gap is widening, 113.4. So a little ahead of Don Parsons of Great Britain. This is going to be...
maybe top 10.
Yeah, 104.8 at the bottom, 65 miles an hour, 10th at the line.
He'll take that. That's where he ranks in the World Cup standings. He's 15th, actually, in World Cup standings. So to be 10th in this field, it's pretty good.
If he ends up with a top 10 today, that'll be his 5th top 12 finish of the year.
So the skid, Martin, he was trying to steer away from the wall.
Yeah. And then it breaks in the opposite direction. Clang.
And then this little formidable challenge in the Turbodrome, and 65 miles an hour on a sidewall.
Yeah, that late pressure catching him out. John Daly of the USA returned to the ice last season.
Let's watch it. Looks like Daly's going to go quick.
Yeah.
And remember, his teammate, look, he's going right out of there. Look,
yeah.
Daly's going to be, his teammate was 20 seconds before he went. Daly's going to go within 10, within 8 seconds. So I don't know if they were listening to our broadcast, but very surprised when I saw Antoine not having his helmet on. And look at what does hundreds of seconds do between second, third, fourth, and fifth? I mean, it's ties, and every hundredth counts.
474 getaway for John Daly. That's the 10th fastest start. Good exit onto the bend away, but a little skid. You just saw his left foot move, and that
110
skid broke out.
109.9, close. Better than his teammate. Oh, his toes are out there. Oh, you heard him.
11th place on the splits. He gets the exit, but at what cost to the speed?
Yeah.
What are we going to see? 112, 113,
113.9. It's not great, not
should
bad,
be a
though.
top 10 run from John Daly. He's up to 8th on the splits, 104.6. That's not bad at all. Finding form.
64, that's pretty good.
51.69, 8th place from John Daly.
He doesn't have a top 10 finish all season.
Yeah.
His best was 10th in Winterberg. So Mr. Daly finally posts one of his better heats of the season.
Well, he took 2 years away, came back last year in the North America's Cup, did one World Cup race, this season.
Just like the way he got away quick. I mean, the quickest person we've seen get out so far is Elizabeth Facci this morning. As soon as the light turned green, she was off.
Yep.
So that was I guess I'm just going to use that as my barometer the rest of the way.
And Nikitina, the Russian.
Yeah.
Kevin Boyer of Canada with that West Coast native art on his helmet, the beaver, and all those, the green and gold of Edmonton, and his mum and dad, his biggest sponsors of his career, and he goes away early as well. Clock's barely changed before he's kicking off from the start line.
Looks like more snow.
Oh, and a good start, 464.
This is a good starter, and this is a warm-up for him for the next Olympic quadrennial. This, I think, is the Canadian. They're going to put some money behind him. He's, with that athleticism at the start, you've got a great potential down below.
Good run onto the straightaway as well. One tiny little touch with the wall. This is really good. 4th fastest start. Where is he? We don't have the speeds from the track for him. So we're going to have to go on the splits. Oh, and crushes the short wall.
A little bit like Trechikov. Got way up there high in the outlet.
Probably slipping out to 6th or 7th place. Clock is still running. It's not giving us any other data. Kevin Boyer, though, with
issues with the clock.
Top 6 finish at the line. Where's he going to be?
Don't know. No time.
Okay, don't know. We got a start time. Ivo Parkan's the coach.
He'll take 4th right now, but I'm sure there's a clock issue. So they have a backup timing system in that truck, or in that timing. So,
well, that was a good-looking run. Got a little late off the Kreisel. Just brushed the short wall here. Not as bad as we've seen.
That definitely was worthy of some time. Look at these pictures. I mean, in this chicane, don't think that the athletes don't have a little nightmares
Look
about
at the
that.
Steering.
I know, it's
hips and legs
the
and
doodles.
shoulders.
The Canadians call it the doodles. You used to see the doodles in the bobsled. They still don't know of his time. He might have to go back up and go again.
Now, I'm rather surprised that letting Rhys Thornbury
go
of
without
New
the
Zealand
timing.
go.
This is, yeah, there's a timing issue here.
He's got a bunch of friends from the RAF skeleton team here with him, and Claire Watts has travelled over from assignment in Iraq
Look at the
to
snow
watch the
coming
race.
down.
Yeah.
Look at the snow coming down now.
Well, he's off straight away.
Drift. Now there's no frozen clock there either. I can't believe they let him just go without. We're still not seeing it on our screen.
All right, well, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Look at the line. Good height in S3, S4, nice straight exit. Look at that, using his
really
mass
good,
well.
Really good.
Couple of toe steers.
Let's listen.
Not bad.
Good form there.
Now holding the line. He's looking for that third pressure to get the exit. Not bad at all.
Oh, a little bit of spray comes up because his toe touched the wall at 64 miles an hour.
You've got to think this is maybe going to put him into the top 10. Lost a little bit of speed below the Kreisel. You can see visibly not got the momentum.
No.
Actually, that might be 12th or 14th at the line.
Well,
we've got nothing on our timing screens or on the screen now.
If they're running them like this, they must have that backup timing working in the... yeah, they got the backup timing working.
Okay, well, we have no time for Kevin Boyer or Reese Thornberry.
But they have the backup timing system working, I'm sure. We're not getting it relayed, but this, to me, I bet you is a top 12 finish. Look at his toes are on the ice there again. You could see him dragging. You see the little...
See the marks that the sled leaves there when he's really steering it hard.
12.
Well,
there's his time, 51.89.
That's not Kevin Boyer, though.
Well, that's what Kevin Boyer had, 12, 51.89. We got 1 out of 2. $51.89 Kevin Boyer had. I'm sure we'll get Reese Thornberry's time here shortly. The guys in the timing department got their hands full. This is Wyatt, a good starter from Great Britain. He's got a 4.67. And this athlete's been coming on. Great start times. And the British have a lot of hope for this guy, much like the Canadians do with Kevin Boyer, for the simple reason they have great starts. They both have 4.64 starts.
Made his World Cup debut in Eagles, so this is his 4th World Cup race. 109.0. That's kind of top 10, 11 speed. And anything here in the top dozen he'll take for the first heat, I would think.
12 speed's not very good. 5,700's back. This looks like a 52 flat. They're timing 15th, 51.94. There's that sub 50-second speed we've seen. So Marcus Wyatt, you know, he's a rookie. He's got great start times. I like this guy's potential. 21st last week at St. Moritz, 14th in Altenburg, 10th at his World Cup debut in Winterberg. And, you know, take a look at him, remember him. I think we're going to see a lot of him in the next 4 years.
Should definitely be enough to put him into the second heat. Next up is our 22nd slider, Marcus Wyatt. I beg your pardon, Barrett Martineau. So Marcus Wyatt, 21st. So we are starting to bump athletes, and Yang Wenzhang of China is out. Florian Auer now from Austria is on the bubble. And you've got to think that Barrett Martineau has got what it takes to get into the second heat. There'll be a lot of catfight action, dogfight action now, because 7 athletes will miss the cut.
He was 19th in World Cup points, but he was last week in Altenburg at the Europa Cup trying to get double points. And so we don't have the IBSF ranking in front of us, but he's better than 19th in the ranking. Pretty good. Speed way off though.
Well, he's missed the cut as often as he's made it this year. He's made 3 races in the second heat. He's missed 3. 5,400s back.
114 speeds better than we saw. Wyatt just came down.
And Parsons and Marchenkov.
12th, 13th.
Yeah, could be 12th place at the line, so he is in. And that means Florian Auer won't get a second heat.
That's what you expect out of another one of these Canadians with some excellent artwork on their helmets. The crowd is gathering down at the bottom, and you know, Barrett, the ski jump instructor, former ski jumper himself, he likes it.
All right, happy with that run. He's in the race. Next up is Jerry Rice, the third of the British sliders. And Jerry Rice done most of the World Cup races, missed out on Altenburg this season.
12th last week at St. Moritz, personal best.
Yeah, made his World Cup debut here a couple of years ago. So let's see what he can produce on the bubble at the moment. Switzerland's Ronald Oderset. And Oderset a 52.35. So anything in 51s should get you into the race. 4.77's a decent start.
It's a crowd starting to gather. They're going to get a bonus because the women's race will follow this. It was postponed after they took 10 sleds down the track this morning. Big snow, wet snow. So we're going to get some skeleton overtime this afternoon with the women. 108.9 is not very good speed, and he's on that 4700s. Isn't bad though.
He might struggle here. He's going to be way down towards the bottom of the top 20.
I got to believe 17th or so. No, we can't tell.
103.2 is very low speed down at the bottom of the track.
19th, right underneath. 52.06.
So 400s behind Florian Auer.
And we're talking 52 flat is our time of choice. The guy in the gray there, Andreas Schottberger, the IBSF vice president.
So he bumps Ronald Oderset, and Alexander Auer is, what did Alexander do? 52.02, Jerry 52.06, 19th place. Next up, Greg West of the USA. And win, lose or draw, Greg will join us to call the action for the women's race to round out his World Cup weekend. He is itching to get onto the track. Look how you see that. The tension in the athletes before the start.
Well, I'd have my helmet on, ready to go.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fog it up. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's true. But still,
So here we go. Well, snowing less at the start. Snowing not at all down here at the finish either. So look at the fingertip push start.
Greg started off the season qualifying USA 1 out of their Olympic trials. He's followed to USA 3 with only 2 sleds in the Olympic Games for the United States. He falls behind Antoine and Daly, does not make the cut, but boy, he had some exciting early part of the year for him.
17th place on the splits off a 20th start. So he's in the race at the moment.
He's decent. See if he gets speed. 108. Nope. Speed is either gone away out of the track. Oh, and there's some dips there. And then
good exit here. That's the decent exit. He's 20th place at the moment. He's going to ease out Ronald Oderset. Reece Thornbury missed the cut, by the way.
We're going to need 104 here at the bottom. 104. He's got it. It could be right to the 100th where he makes the cut or not.
And 20th at the line, he is just in front of Ronald Oderset and 800s behind Jerry Rice.
Well, there's one more slider, I think, that can get him.
52.14, 52 anything is not really safe. He's in 20th place. All right, Greg, well, that's why every 100th counts.
Watch how low he gets here into the Kreisel. When you go that low, then he steers, he goes back up. The oscillation point way up in the frost.
Huge height on that second pressure, and that's just extra distance he didn't need to be taking. 3 to go. Next up is Hiro Takahashi from Japan. Kyle Tress, the former US skeleton slider who's now coaching the Japanese there with him at the start. You heard the ding-dong. He gets the sled on the ice himself.
Out of nowhere, he's been 20th and 22nd and 19th the whole season. 23rd last week at St. Moritz, but in Altenburg, he was 9th.
Yep.
And that's probably the toughest track on tour. Lake Placid, Altenburg, and of course here you got to steer a little bit.
4.74 getaway.
Mr. Baseball here.
That puts him already 12th fastest starter, 14th place on times out of that first clock into the S's.
Good lines. 2300's back, it's not bad. 109 speed plus will put him in the field.
So it's him or Greg West.
108, ooh.
108.1, slower than Greg West.
Yeah, now we can hear some scratching too.
I wonder if the humidity is taking its toll on the track.
Right, he's ahead of West at the moment. So
20th place.
112.2, that's not that 113 that West had.
I'm not sure he's going to make it. It's going to be very close. Greg West can breathe again a fraction.
10 hundredths.
Okay, so 21st place, 1/10 of a second out of the race.
So we finally see Kevin Boyer's time. He's in 13th.
Yeah.
Great run for the Canadian.
And Barrett Martineau
In fact,
was
there's
12th.
Canadians are 12th, 13th, and 14th. And Mr. Takahashi, boy, just didn't have any speed. In and out of Kreisel, down below, too much scratching. And that 9th place finish at Hultberg.
Yeah.
What happened there?
It's in there. 2 to go. 6'4.5" of Switzerland. This is Riet Graf. He is, I think, the tallest athlete in the field. Certainly looks like it because he's straight up and down with the colours of Graubünden. And that's the canton where St-Moritz is based. The blue and yellow and the white and the grey mountain goat on it, the onyx.
Tall, 6'4", as you said. And he gets the 24th best start, which means he can't touch a wall on the way down.
Now his teammate Ronald Arderset, off a 4.64 start, is only 22nd at the bottom. He's just started 4.85.
And he was his best finish of the season, 20th place in Vinterberg at 108 speed, 108.5. That's not bad with the 24th best start. And let's see, he's got to exit clean to have a chance, and he does.
Didn't do the World Cup here last year, 27th in the World Championships.
If he gets 112, way back, so I can't see him getting into that position. No, he's going to stay 23rd or 22nd or 23rd, so Greg West to live another sled. 24th, 137. Well, when you have the 24th best start, there's really a good chance of you finishing 24th in the race. That's what he just did.
So a man who's only in his second World Cup season finishes it off here in Königssee.
These are good lines.
Yeah.
These are great lines. But his
speed
albatross,
was gone. Yeah.
His albatross was the start.
Well, that's his job for the summer, is to do sprint training. The first 30 meters have got to get better.
Here's a good starter.
And here's a good story as well. Alex Hansen of Norway has earned his nation a spot in the Games. However, his NOC, his National Olympic Committee, are not minded to send him. Snorre Pedersen, the coach, was saying, if he can get in the top 20, they might be able to argue. If he gets in the top 15, then they're really going to argue.
Well, he's going to have the start. He's going to have a top 5 or 6 start here.
So
in the 60s probably.
This is literally make or break for Alex Hansen.
62.
4.62, that's
Second
a great
best
start.
They should just send him on that.
But he's only in his 3rd year on ice.
Well, come on, Alex.
62.4. We root for the underdogs, we root for the big dogs, because everybody here has the passion for this sport. 200s from the lead onto the bendaway.
Get 109 speed here. 109, come on. Get an exit. Clean exit.
Okay, legs splayed, but he gets away from the short wall. 20, top 10, a top 12 run here would be a sensation.
He's high there, watch out here though, watch out.
This could be huge for the Norwegian.
Still 9th, this would be unbelievable.
A top 10 run from Alex Hansen, that might get him to the Games. Now he's got one more heat to go. But have you seen Snorre Pedersen that animated this season? Not once.
How could you not root for that?
You've got to root for that. Boy, Alex Hansen, that's the biggest slide of his life ever.
That's his best heat of his career.
Look at the smile on the face of Kristen Bromley. 11th for Alex Hansen. What a time to find that form.
Hope somebody from the Norwegian Olympic Committee selection is watching this. This is an athlete who could use a lot of great experience into Pyeongchang as a warm-up for Beijing. The experience from one Olympics to the other is so crucial.
Yeah. What a great run from Alex Hansen. Puts him in the field. But look at the top of the pile. Top 5 covered by 1300s, ties all the way down the order, including for first and for third. Might have to break out a few more medals at this rate. Axel Jung-Martins Dukors, ahead of Thomas Dukors, Nikita Tregibov. It's insanely close. Look at that, Alex Hansen in 11th position. What a time for the Viking to pull off the biggest run of his career. More important even than the second time he went down the track when he didn't run away from it screaming. Jerry Rice makes the field. Greg West gets bumped by Hansen. And Hiro Takahashi, Ronald Arderset and the rest will join us trackside for the final men's skeleton heat of the season. You can do too. Sleds will be on ice in just 30 minutes from now for the last run of the regular season. Until then, from John Morgan, the IBSF TV crew, me, Martin Haven, thank you for being with us. We'll see you shortly for the final run of men's skeleton.